YouTube, if you're listening to this, why are you allowing bacons on your platform? If you're watching this on Twitter, YouTube, X, why are you allowing bacons on your platform? Why are you deleting people off your platform? 2 strikes and 1 copyright strike. Another strike and it is out for me. But let's talk about YouTube, guys. Let's talk about how YouTube is harboring some serious people on this platform. Let's talk about the CEO. Let's talk about what's being promoted, their advertisers, why certain people are favored on this platform and others aren't. Why it isn't an even playing field, and why actually, if you have sold your soul to the devil, you will be promoted. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about anybody that brings up Isaac Cappy, anybody that talks about what is really going on in regards to warping the minds of the people. 2 weeks. They took me off for 2 weeks. 2 strikes I have. I've got 2 strikes and 1 blue moon. I mean, by the way, I'm using my pad here. It's a new pad. I'm not using my laptop. I want to see how this goes. If people can tell me what the sound is like. So, since I've been away from YouTube, I've done a little bit of research into YouTube. Because I thought to myself, I can't be a full-blown conspiracy theorist here. Why are they targeting people? It wasn't just me. They targeted thousands of channels, under 10,000 subscriptions, getting rid of them. A mass exodus of channels. And the reason being is because any channels that were talking about certain people on this platform that was making big money for this platform, they were getting took off. They were getting struck off. Now, you have to think about it this way, right? Up the INLA. We need these boys in to do a job on a couple of fellas here. But listen, think about it this way, right? I've sent the relevant information to YouTube about a notorious Speedo. I can't even say the word anymore. I am so restricted in what I can say. I can't. I've got 2 strikes on my channel for posting a news article from the New York Post. I can't even remember what it was about. They give me a harassment and bullying strike for that, for posting a news article from a legitimate site. And then I got another harassment and me, of all people, harassment and bullying, right? When there's people on here, legitimate bacons, that have done terrible things to women and kids, and with legitimate proof, and YouTube have been sent the relevant information about the. I have been in contact with YouTube. I have given YouTube all the relevant information about a certain person. Maybe this person's on my thumbnail. They have the convictions list on what he done. He is monetized on YouTube. And they had a mass exodus 2 weeks ago. They nearly got me. I do believe YouTube bought the rights to music that I had on my channel to send me a copyright strike via a third party. I don't want to get too conspiratorial. Somebody done it. I'm gonna say it was YouTube. Somebody done it via a third party email, and I think it was YouTube. I don't have proof, but I think it's YouTube. And they sent me 2 community guideline strikes, 1 for a news article and 1 for some other stupid shit. So let's understand YouTube here. Let's understand what's going on. Danny, that is a notorious Speedo that done terrible things to children in the 1970s, got convicted, tried, and done jail time for infiltrating boys' homes and doing terrible things to children, who's on YouTube with a monetized channel. Monetized. He lost over 100,000 subscribers because of it. He's got 325,000 subscribers now. So what I'm trying to say to you is YouTube has all the relevant information. Whenever I speak about these people, YouTube try to get rid of me. So what are you trying to get rid of me for? Listen, I've got many other platforms. I've been on other platforms for the past 2 weeks getting thousands of views. TikTok, Twitter, Rumble. YouTube isn't the end all. I make more money in Rumble. I think I've got like 100 quid sitting in my Rumble account. This isn't about the money. This is why is YouTube allowing certified bacons on their platform? I don't get that. And why are they deleting other people that are talking the truth? I had an Isaac Cappy video that I was going to drop, and I couldn't drop it. I couldn't drop this video. I couldn't drop it. It's disgusting, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% right about everything, but let's get conspiratorial here. YouTube has went on a lockdown. They went on a lockdown. Now, my question to everybody is, right, if I'm a whack job and I'm maybe suffering from psychosis, I'm paranoid, schizophrenic, okay, I'll accept those things if you're saying that, if people are going to say that to me, right? But how come I've been in contact with YouTube and I've given them all the relevant information? I've spoke to an actual human who's got the information on Creature Man, and they still allow him to stay up, even though he done terrible things to children, convicted in the 1970s. And then how come not too long after that, that's whenever my channel was really attacked? Let's talk about what happened a couple of months ago, which I haven't said. Let me just have a look at the chat here. Let's just, there's Narrative Destroyer in. There's Stevie Boy. Hope you're well, fella. It's good to see you. So why have I came to the conclusions on certain things? Because it's not just me. It's not just me this is happening to. I know of 3 channels that have been completely eradicated. One, this lady, she had a channel. Forget her name. It was last year. Deleted for no reason. Absolutely no reason. She's not even allowed to make another one unless she's got a VPN. So what I'm trying to say to you is, right, if you are a Speedo, a rapist, a wronging, come onto this platform, because this is what they want. They want you on here because this is the agenda that they're pushing. And even on that little tiny small dicky demographic, aka the pedo demographic, I think to myself, even those people are being distracted from the truth about what's really going on here. I couldn't believe it. Half of the people that you're watching are frauds. They have no clue about what they're doing. They're not gangsters. They never will be gangsters. And it's actually laughable because whenever you're speaking to people who are really in that world, they say, listen, we wouldn't be on a camera because it would be counterproductive for ourselves to be on that camera, because then we're putting ourselves into the spotlight. And anybody that is speaking on a camera about crimes A, B, and C is probably a tout / grass / snitch, because they feel that they can come on here and speak about it. So I think that goes without saying. Do you know what I mean? So it would then lead me to believe, well, so that you've got snitches, you've got rapists, you've got Speedos, and they're all being promoted. And then that's just in the lower levels, right? That's just on the lower levels of things. I'm not even looking at the comments here. I'm just rambling off what's inside my head. But then you have to look at the higher levels of YouTube, the Logan Pauls. YouTube promoted Logan Paul whenever he was scamming millions from his own fans, which was exposed by CoffeeZilla. So the whole platform, Google, aka YouTube, is set up to corrupt and scam. That's the way it would seem from an honest opinion. And anybody that speaks up about what they're tied to, their advertisers, Pfizer, Moderna, big bit, a lot of, Coca-Cola. These people, you can't speak about certain things, not because YouTube doesn't want, not because that's its own entity. It's because their advertisers don't allow it. And whenever you tell the truth on, just say, a disease, or whenever you tell the truth on Israel, Palestine, whenever you tell the truth on Russia, Ukraine, Joe Biden, and you don't have 100,000 subscriptions, you're going to be eradicated. Now, let's just face facts here. You've got. I looked just in the higher scale of things. I looked at Donald Trump's YouTube channel the other day. He had 245,000 views on a video that was posted a day previous, because they were censoring his content. Now, Donald Trump's an idiot. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say this guy's brilliant. But then you've got people talking about. This is in the higher scale of YouTube now. People bringing to the forefront Hunter Biden and his laptop and the stuff that went on in Ukraine with him and his prostitutes and the crack cocaine and the cocaine found in the White House. And anybody speaking about this is being totally 100% eradicated and shot down, which would lead me to believe that there's an agenda. There's an agenda. It's not open. It's not free speech. It's an illusion. And whenever I posted on the lower scale of things, whenever I post an article on YouTube, on my community page of the New York Times, and that gets took down for harassment and bullying, that would lead me to believe that there's an agenda against everybody. So what I'm watching on YouTube could be all fabricated. But there's a few channels, big up Patrick Bent David, that's a fucking cracking channel. Don't watch any of the bacons and the touts and the grasses on that little side of YouTube anymore. Every single one of them are bacons and grasses. They would get their kneecaps blown off within a second. Do you know what I mean? By the wind. Not in real life, YouTube. And this would happen to them in GTA 6, not in real life. Do you know what I mean? So everything I say here is completely not true. And it's all hypotheticals, and it's all happening in GTA 6 and Minecraft. There you go. All these people are touts, grasses, and rapists and speedos on the dicky pedo demographic on Minecraft. There you go. On Minecraft and GTA 6. Not reality. There you go. A lot of things have become clear with a lot of shit on YouTube. Let me just go on down here. I'll have a look at the chat. Do you know what I have to say? I have been watching Narrative Destroyer. He sort of keeps me up to date with a lot of stuff. I'd have to say my only issue with these socialist groups, fair play, Irish freedom and all the rest, I support that. But is when people come to me and say that they're a socialist, because I had the opportunity to speak to somebody from a certain faction one time, and it says, well, you're a socialist, you believe in socialism? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, sometimes you do a little bit of taxing on the drug dealers. Yeah, we do, yeah. Do you keep that money? Yeah. So you don't spread that out into the community and help like sort of like a Robin Hood group? No. I go, so you're a capitalist then? So you're a socialist movement under the umbrella of capitalism. Do you see where it's easily debunked that, or it's easily ripped apart? So I understand people talk about the INLA, the RA, the UVF, the dissonance, many more. Do you know what I mean? There's many miniature groups. When people come to me and say that they're socialists, but to keep the money that the tax, it's like, well, you're not a socialist. You're actually a capitalist, and you're just a business that deals with dirty money. You know, what has these people? What have they done for the community? Are they taking money and taken from the rich and given to the poor? If so, then I totally 100% support them. Just whenever the Northern Bank, I can't speak too much about that, but whenever it was robbed here in Ireland, the north here, I've seen a few notes, not from me. I didn't do it. This all happened in Minecraft, and uh, they one of the things they asked was, why did you do it? Was it for a cause, a movement? You know, but at least they were honest, and they said that it wasn't for any organization. They just wanted to get rich fast. So you can understand that, don't say that you're a socialist when you're not a socialist. You're actually a capitalist. I hate that. Just be honest about it. You're a movement, paramilitary, armed to the teeth. But um, I'm not a socialist, and don't promote socialism whenever you're actually a capitalist. So look, here's the thing. Like, when it comes to Ireland, and it comes to, like, there's a fella, Stevie Boy there is a good mod of mine, and he's a good fella. I've known him for a while, and we'll have conflicting opinions about this. And he says there's no such thing as being illegal. Look, I agree and I disagree with that. I agree and I disagree. For instance, like, I've took the time and the opportunity to speak to a lot of people from the areas that's being affected in Ireland, north and south, and in England. And I speak to a lot of people in England in regards to what, Tommy Robinson's up to, what, maybe more left leaning people, what they're up to. And one thing that stands out is nobody is actually afraid of any type of immigration. We actually want immigration. We like immigration because immigration is economic growth. One of the key things you need to look out for is media language. Whenever they say economic migrants, that is a massive red flag to me, right? Because there's nothing economic about these people. I've had the pleasure of speaking to a lot of decent, very, very decent people, hardworking people that have came here from different countries, from all around, and they're from all religions: Muslims, Christians, Buddhists. I spoke to a Russian guy the other day and a Ukrainian the other day, who were actually friends, funny enough. And one of the things that you need to know is that they are warning about some of the people that are coming here now. They're not saying, oh, because of their race or their religion. They're saying it's because of the type of doctrine they were under. For instance, North Africa, Boko Haram. There's a lot of these people coming from these places that are trained in the art of war. And one of the things, I think it's a Boko Haram. I think it's them. They train in grape and physical torture and grape. And you're reading Twitter posts and they haven't been debunked. I was waiting for them to be debunked, where one of the guys says, well, if you think the IRA is bad, wait till you see what we're like, Ireland. That's literally a Twitter post, and that person's in Cork now. Now, on the flip side of that, you have legitimate whack jobs in Dublin and in Ireland that are totally 100% racist and don't know anything by their own nose. So they couldn't look at a person. Like, I'll be honest with you, the other day, I had a kickabout with a football match with a guy in a park. And he didn't speak English, and he was a Syrian, and his daughters came in and they were wearing hijabs, and they were beautiful looking girls, like, and they were all of age, obviously. They were all like over 18, but they were beautiful looking girls, and he couldn't speak, so we communicated via football, and he told me about his life, about living in Egypt, and it was heart wrenching. And his son came over, and his other son was called Jacob, and he said it in an Islamic way. And his big brother came over and punched him in the arm and says, we don't speak like that here. your name is Jason, or I can't forget what he says. And I says, no, if that's the way he wants to be called, that's the way he wants to be called. So there's a lot, you have to understand there's deep respect for the culture with a lot of these good, decent people. And they don't want to come in and wreck everything. But there is a faction of thousands and many thousands of these men coming from North Africa that have been brought in by Leo and the extreme left that is running Ireland at the minute. Leo is an absolute disgrace to Ireland. He, I have to be very careful what I say. He's an absolute disgrace to the country. And as soon as these people are completely eradicated from, my biggest fear is about Ireland is it goes the other way, where it's left, it's extreme left. I don't want it to go extreme right like the Netherlands. The Netherlands is it the Netherlands who have appointed that guy? Because if it goes that way, then then we've got another evil. So we need to be very balanced. Ireland's always been very balanced. Right now, Ireland is being ran by extreme left lunatics, and it's crept into the north here because see the DUP and all the unionist parties up here, they just bend over and take it. Do you know what I mean? Because they want the same thing. And essentially, why these people are coming in is for two reasons. One, civil war. So you have to understand they are very, very handy for civil war because these people who are trained in the art of war and high testosterone, very, very motivated, and they're brought in for one, civil war if it ever breaks out, and number two, they are brought in to vote because now whenever you come into Ireland, I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong about this, I think you're eligible to vote straight away, no matter who you are. So it's basically they're coming in here to fight to keep the corrupt in power and to vote to keep the corrupt in power. And that's essentially what it is. Agenda Ireland 2030 to bring in 1 million more people, which I totally agree with. Bringing 1 million more people that are vetted, documented, that a vast majority of them that are going to benefit the country and benefit it economically. But it's probably won't work out that way because we have now moved into the satanic realms, and this is what I wanted to get into, doomsday, because if you look at the situation for what it is, you got Russia, Ukraine, you got Israel, Palestine, and what's going to kick off next is China, Taiwan, and we're going to be entering in the next couple of years into World War III, and it's going to be nuclear. So if you're not ready for this shit, I don't mean to make you paranoid. If you're not ready for this shit, I mean, have a loadout, have a ready bag, have a place where you can go. Fuck whatever your government says or whatever your mum and dad or your brother says. Make sure that you're armed to the teeth. You've got food at the ready. Store it and get ready because it's going to pop off very, very soon. And if it doesn't, okay, but at least you're going to be ready. If it does, I'm just going to be totally 100% honest with you here and say that I'm arming myself accordingly. For what possibly, and I'm not when I say that, I mean in all aspects of things, in the correct way and the correct way of doing things. So there's Melissa. I hope you're good, Melissa. Yeah, I've been away. I've been on a ban. They've banned me, demonetized me, took me out of the recommendations. A lot of people say that they were. Yes, I was recommended to you whenever I switched to the MMA. I'll still be speaking about MMA here, but I put up a community post, Melissa, and they banned me for a community post. But it is what it is. I YouTube's 4% of my life, Melissa. Do you know what I mean? 5% at the most. It doesn't really matter much to me. I've got many other platforms that I'm on. As I say, TikTok, Rumble. TikTok's actually a lot better than here, to be honest with you, because you can find new people really, really fast, like-minded people. I've been speaking to a few doomsday preppers on TikTok, talking about maybe linking up in Ireland and forming a network of, if things go tits up. And just on the doomsday thing, make sure, high, I'm not saying get high if you want, but mountain ranges somewhere up high, because I want to actually speak about that. Actually, go follow me on Go follow me on Twitter. I'll put all because it's total freedom of speech on Twitter. There's my little handle there, X at Holden Official too, and it'll take you straight over to my Twitter. I'm gonna be posting stuff on my Twitter and TikTok about what happens if a nuclear bomb goes off. If you got any hazmat suits, if there's a solar flare, the grid goes down, electricity, uh, internet, how to still keep communications. You need to set up this network right now. I'm sort of in the process of speaking to a few people in Ireland, that we're going to network properly away from the internet, an untraceable network where we can talk. And one fellow was talking about doing it through via pigeon, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. That would be great, sending notes via pigeon, no training pigeons. I think that would be brilliant, completely untraceable. And it's necessary because the way things are going right now, anything is possible. So who have I got? I'll just flip. I'm terrible at looking. Yeah, Bloomin', I totally agree. I totally agree. I'm just looking at the top chat there. Um, Let me just scroll down here. I don't want to miss anybody. I've just seen Ronan about you, Melissa. No, listen, you know, I've been away for a hot minute, but haven't been fully away. I've been doing things to really occupy my mind. Like Christmas was mental, was brilliant. I loved Christmas. Had a bit of a break around Christmas, but I've been plotting, thinking, planning for the next 5 years. You know what possibly could be. And people are going to say I'm paranoid. Like I don't care. I'd rather be paranoid and alive than morbidly obese, sitting here drinking tap water and jacking off to Pornhub and dead. Do you know what I mean? When something comes in, I'm not round. I can't even get up out of my bed. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know what I mean? You know, this is what we're saying here. The men in the West have got very low testosterone. Most of us are overweight. We need to get our act together and get our mind frames back into the 1940s when men were men, proper men. I'm not just talking about throwing a punch. There's many of them. It's easy to throw a punch. Who can't throw a punch? But it's harder to get up every day and grind every single day and live like a fucking Viking. There's a lot of people that betray to be Vikings on this platform. I see it. They're sitting there with spliffs hanging out of their mouth, and they're sitting there with beer hanging out of their mouth. That's not a Viking. A Viking gets up every single day, grinds, protects his family, and makes sure and is ready for any occasion. And people need to know that. And if you're not a Viking. If you're not a Viking. You're not a soldier. You're not a Roman soldier. You're not your ancestors would be sickened by you. They're throwing up. They're turning in their grave. They want the globalists to take over you because at least the globalists have got a backbone to come in and do something about it and try to control you. Your Roman, Celtic, Gaelic, Viking, Norse, Greek, fucking Aborigine ancestors are laughing at you because you're such a weak. We're even myself. We're so weak and pathetic. We can't even stand up to a couple of fat cats in suits. Like, sorry to go off on one. It's just how I feel. This is what I really think. To be honest with you, I think about this. This is why when I was off YouTube, it done me the world of good. I was able to knuckle down, network with people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about, know how to shoot a weapon. There was one guy, man. I have to say this. There's one guy I was speaking to, right? And this geezer has made a bow. I mean, it's like something out of Assassin's Creed. He's got a bow that shoots from his wrist. So it sits on your wrist and you pull it back. It's like a slingshot. And you pull it back and you pull your arm back and you release the trigger with your wrist and it shoots. It's faster than any bullet I've ever seen. And I thought that was brilliant because you're thinking to yourself, who's going to expect that? Do you know what I mean? Sean, what's everybody's opinion on Sean Atwood? I've spoke to Sean Atwood many a time. Sean Atwood, people give off about Sean Atwood. This is what we need to stop doing, right? Sean Atwood is Sean Atwood. Sean Atwood's out there putting out content day in, day. That fella, right? Sean Atwood, this is what I have to respect, right? Take away the Collie Diamond situation, take away all that shit, the scandals and the James Englishes. I watched that the other day for the crack, and I was laughing at James English and Sean because they made bank from that, right? Just think about it this way, right? His kid was being born. This is a baller, right? This is the definition of a baller. His kid was being born. The day his kid was being born, he posts a fucking podcast on his channel. Like, that is that is drive and motivation. So I respect the fact that he can take so much hate. Like, I had a guest. Let me give you a bit of insight into Sean Atwood, right? So I would never ever speak about what me and Sean have spoke about behind the scenes, ever. I wouldn't do that to anybody, even my worst. I wouldn't even do it about Decca Higgy. Got all Decca's messages which will never be released ever. Do you know why? They're very fucking incriminating towards him and point out his lies because I've got fucking integrity. Integrity is key. If I come on here and start showing text messages and start being a little bullrit, right? What happens is how can you trust me? How can my subscribers, the people that I speak to on a day-to-day basis, trust me with information? People have told me things behind the scenes about everything. Information. If something happens, I hear it about a month before because people can trust me because they know I'm not going to go and spread lies. Even the humble dryer and Fighting Irish at the time, people came to me and says, "Where does Fighting Irish live? Fighting Irish lives fucking 2 miles away from me. Can throw a stone and hit the cunt in the head." Of course I would never give up his address. I would rather have my hands chopped off than give up his address. Just like if somebody came to me and says, "Where does the humble dryer live?" I would rather have my hands chopped off than give his address away, because that's the definition of being a rat. And there's too many little fucking rats on this platform that sneak about and do shit behind each other's back. You're bound to have seen it. Rats. Every single one of them, rats. And there was a fellow on here who was going to talk about a big channel. When I say big channel, a couple of thousand subscriptions, 16,000 subscriptions. And he says, well, I was going to start speaking about him. And I says, don't, because he's a fucking rat. He goes, how is he a rat? He's a nice guy. But laid it all out for me. He goes, look, he's a fucking rat. This guy's a rat. These people are rats. You don't want to be surrounded by rats. This is how I see the situation for what it is. These people on this platform are rats. Not all of them, but a fucking vast majority of them don't have a backbone and they don't have integrity. That's why whatever is said between me and another person, even if I hate them, like Decca, I'm never going to release those messages. Do you know what I mean? Because there's very few men on this platform. And let me tell you something too. See anybody that's coming out here and saying to you, oh, I'm going to do this to you, and I'm going to do that to you. Oh, you're a bacon, you're this. Oh, look at you, you're this. I'm a big hard man. I'm going to do this to you, and you're going to, whenever I see you, I'm going to do this. They're going to do absolutely fuck all, because that's evidence. They've now give evidence, and they know that. They know that. They've just give video evidence that they're going to do something. So that's how you know when somebody's quiet. There's a lot of people that have said stuff about me in this platform. I say fuck all, because if I ever have to meet these people face to face and I don't know this, they fall off a cliff, and Officer fucking Joe Blogs comes up to me and says, Ronan, where were you on the 29th of fucking January 2022? Was in with a family officer, having a nice family night. You got an alibi? Yeah, my missus. This is what I'm trying to say. People that are going to do shit, keep their mouth shut. People who aren't going to do stuff, talk. Anybody that's talking on this platform about dodgy shit is either a bacon or a grass. Do you want to get involved with either? Don't support any of these people. Do not subscribe. I do not want your money. I do not want your buy me a coffees. I do not want any of that. But I want you to know this. And if you really want to get better in your lives, start thinking about investing your money. Invest your money. Work out every single day religiously. Limit your time on the internet. Learn something new every day and prepare for the fucking worst, i.e., start becoming a fucking doomsday prepper and start making money, real money. Because I'll tell you another thing too. See that fucking universal credit? I was looking at that. I was speaking to somebody the other day, right? Talking about universal credit and PIP. That shit is holding people back from making real money, proper money. Because once you're on that, you're now involved in their little commie system, their little socialist system, and they inhibit you from actually going out and making extra money. So a guy can go out here and make 50K. Oh fuck, I can't do that, because if I do that, that's going to ruin my benefits and that's going to ruin my universal credit. And this is going to, where that guy could evolve, he can't. It inhibits, it's socialism inhibits growth. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Capitalism's bad too, but if you want to get yourself better, invest your money. I don't listen. I'm not going to tell you what to invest in. Do your own fucking research. Work out every day. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. Become a fucking ruthless cunt that doesn't take no for an answer. If you want something, fucking do it, and stop bitching and moaning and whining. I can't do this. And prepare for the worst. Become a fucking doomsday prepper. Because guess what? See the people that are laughing at you saying, what the fuck's this cunt talking about doomsday prepping and the end of the world? Well, guess what? See the bitches that said that you're crazy. They're going to be the fuckers that are going to run to you whenever it happens. And what you do is you fucking close that door and say, well, who's the crazy one now, bitch? I'm sitting here armed to the teeth with enough food to last me for fucking 10 years with a fucking colony of beautiful looking women and strong masculine men in there that are fucking, that are, super intelligent and super physical, that know the fuck what's going on. And, that we've got empathy. So fuck you. It's just the way I feel. I'm sorry. I'm getting conspiratorial here, but your husband is a legend, Melissa. Your husband is a legend, and let me tell you something, Melissa. Right? If see your husband, right? Your husband, what he's doing is, because men have it in our DNA. We subconsciously know that things can go tits up, Melissa. We know that things can go tits up at any stage. I always say to people, men, good men, have got we've got a DNA built into us that know exactly what can happen, the worst thing. It's not that the glass is half empty. It's that we know that the fucking glass can be eradicated by a nuclear bomb. So how do we protect our wives, the Beckys and the Melissas? How do we do that? Well, stop being a pussy, we tell the truth, and we accept that there's going to be persecution for telling the truth. Because there's not everybody wants to hear this. There's going to be people going, well, fuck him, he's talking shit. That's okay, good. You waste away watching Pornhub and, I don't know, whatever people do. Eating Doritos, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, your husband's a fucking legend. Do you know what I mean? That's what the moral is. Your husband's a legend that knows what the crack is, and at any stage it will go downhill. And when it goes downhill, it's people like your husband that people flock to. They don't flock to the guy that went, well, here, I think everybody should get triple, quadruple vaxxed, and immigration's good. This illegal stuff is really, really good. And more government's great. Nobody flocks to that guy. People flock to the guy that's silent, that's armed to the teeth, that's been telling everybody for the past 10 years that you are all fucking dumb as fuck. And now people come to him looking for answers. And that's who your husband is, a legend. Let me just talk about TikTok here, right? So TikTok's owned by China, right? And I have to say this. It's a lot better than this platform, because I have found people on that platform that think exactly like me. On here, if you speak about something, that you bog down into that demographic for the next 3 years of your life. On TikTok, it's completely different. You can speak about a different subject every different video, like every other video, and it will reach a different audience every time. Hence why I was able to speak to people talking about doomsday bunkers and shit like that, because they were in that algorithm, and now we've connected. We're on a network, and hopefully, if shit goes tits up, it'll not go really tits up for us. It's way better than here, and there's less bacons on it. I have to say it, and there's no kids on it, because I was a wee bit funny about going on it, maybe because there was kids and stuff, but there was no kids. There was more kids on here. YouTube has a kids app. There's YouTube Kids. There's no TikTok Kids. Kids aren't allowed onto TikTok. Yes, they do have profiles like anywhere else, but I have never seen a child interact on my profile. It was all people that think exactly like me, women and men. So it's way better than here. And there's less pedophiles and rapists. That's a good thing. Sinn Fein. I do feel like Sinn Fein sold us out here, like, but the unionists up here are no better. They're licking Sinn Féin's hole at the minute, like. There's a massive movement up here between, the loyalists and the Republicans and the unionists and the nationalists that have got, a brain cell in their head, and they're actually thinking to themselves, lads, why the fuck's why the fuck's the DUP sort of like Sinn Féin at the minute? They're not saying anything at all. Because they're cut from the same cloth. Oh right. All right, I get you. You are a Viking, Stevie, and remember that you're a fucking Viking, because we're going to need Vikings very, very soon. Big up the narrative destroyer. I like him. He has a bit of crack, like, do you know what I mean? It's all harmless. Stephen Graham, it's good to see you, my friend. At the roundabout in Newcastle, I'm trying to think where that was from. Oh, I'm way up in the chat here. Oh, there's Fighting Irish. You should see the Tesco shop. Is that your husband? Well, you'd have to find it first. You'd have to find it first, wee man Sham. I have to be honest with you. On the bunker itself, the project that I'm working on. So there's a bunker that I'm working on. It's not, the hole isn't even fucking dug, but it consists of 4 containers. 4 containers, shipping containers under the ground, possibly 6 foot under the ground. Death depth, as I call it. One filled with food and cooking. And the only thing is, I need to know how to turn smoke and steam. I need to vaporize that before it releases out, because I don't want people to see. If people are cooking or whatnot, maybe there's some way of collecting that, but that's going to create mold. So I don't know. It's still a work in progress. And two for rooms and one for living room, and then I don't know, maybe you could fill the middle of it with containers and weld them in together and have one big massive fucking meeting room. That would be cool. But then having multiple of them with people that know how to do this, and maybe 4 or 5 different people around the north of Ireland here that are locked in, and from Derry to Belfast, the County Down, the Armagh, having all this like a network. It'd be class though to get the pigeons. I would love to get the pigeons, sending messages via pigeon. That would be brilliant. I would love that. Fuck that roundabout Newcastle, some spot like. Nah, it's fuck. Listen, they're just. But listen, back to what I was saying here. Um, yeah. So I've been off. I've been banned. They banned me for 2 weeks. Now you have to understand, I was on a previous ban before. They banned me for a week, and then they banned me for 2 weeks. Now this was, in my opinion, um, it's not a coordinated attack against me because I'm a nobody. Why would they want to attack me? What the fuck? Sure, who am I? But it was an algorithmic change. So you just need to understand how YouTube works. You could flag this now, and it'll not get took down. You could hate me, and you could have 100 people flagging this for whatever. They don't. YouTube don't take reports seriously, right? What they do is they have an algorithm. And that's why they say don't really curse on YouTube, because the algorithm picks up how many times you've cursed, how many times you've said certain things that are undesirable. And if you've done that enough throughout your channel, they will send you a strike or take down your channel. Now, if you are under 100,000 subscriptions, you don't have a YouTube representative. If you're over 100,000 subscriptions, I think you're allocated a YouTube representative. And that's why you have people over 100,000 subscriptions able to get to the bottom of these issues faster. Now, personally, myself, YouTube changed the algorithm every 6 months, so it's very hard to keep up with them. So if you're not an established channel with thousands of subscriptions already, then it's going to be very hard for you, because there was a stage between 2005 and 2013 where YouTube's algorithm was completely the same. It didn't change, and then they started to change it every year, and then now it's every 6 months. So the algorithm changes, so we don't know what they're cracking down on next. So, this is why you have to speak in code. And if you're not speaking in code, then your channel's going to get took down inevitably. So it's not about how many times your videos are reported. It's about how many times the algorithm has kicked in on your channel, or their bots, or their little listening bots have kicked in and have deemed your content undesirable to be on this platform. And so this is how they can be exempt from any legal thing. So for instance, I can go to YouTube to say I get 100,000 subscriptions. I go to YouTube and say, listen, I'm getting a lot of trouble with these. I'm demonetized. Like, to put into perspective what they've done to me. Think about all the other channels that are on YouTube that are promoting drug use, that are calling each other Speedos and Bacons, and they're being horrible doxing each other, and they're all monetized. Now, think about it. Why would they want to demonetize me? Well, the common denominator between the people that are demonetized on YouTube is that we spoke about COVID. We spoke about the pandemic. We spoke about Klaus Schwab. We spoke about the globalists. We spoke about the climate change cartel. We spoke about, a lot of different things like that. And that essentially is not desired on this platform unless you're going with their narrative. And I never went with their narrative. So what I'm trying to say to you is that they're trying to fuck you really, really bad. It's anybody that's starting a channel right now, unless, and there is ways around this. There is ways around this. I can pay. There's literally an option for me to pay. Just like TikTok, you can pay and they promote you. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm not some fucking loser that's going to pay. I don't care how many subscriptions I've got. I don't care about the views that I get. What I do care about is an even playing field for everybody to come on. So if somebody hates me, they have the right to come on and hate me. And I have the right to defend myself. But look at the inconsistencies on this platform. There's doxers. I have give YouTube the relevant, correct, factual information on Creature Man about his conviction of him being a Speedo. And they have seen that information and they have not took action. So what does that tell you? Because he aligns himself with the rainbow people. Think about it. Even though he's lost 100,000 subscribers, 100,000 people said, nope, he's not for me, and unsubscribed. And YouTube still have kept this guy up. Look at Dicky. Dicky has been paraded all over the Philippines as a significant risk. He's still up there. Think about all the stuff that he's done online, not as just his convictions and his allegations. Think about the stuff that he's done online, especially in the Philippines. Getting his wee out. That horrible content where he was choking on his own spit. That stuff is disgusting and it's demonic. These people are demonic. They've Dicky, Creature Man, to a certain degree, Logan Paul. These people have sold their soul for a couple of extra quid in their back pocket. These people are demonic, and this shit is being promoted on this platform. And the only way to fight against this is to not give a fuck. I would rather go out with a bang than go out fucking smooth sailings and go on with the narrative. Seriously. Let me have just a wee look. Here's one here. This is good. I'm of the 12 tribes of Native America. Your extinction is near. We are white, black, and brown. We can rebuild humanity without your help. We don't want you here anymore. Jesus Christ. Like, come on, look, listen. what a thing to say. But I respect your opinion. We are better than, look, nobody's better than anybody. If you are Islamic, you're not better than somebody that's Jewish. If you are Jewish, you're not better than anybody that's Islamic. We are made up of the same stuff. You've got more in common. A far right bigot has more in common with a far left whack job liberal than they do with anybody at the top of the corporate chain of BlackRock, of Vanguard, the people who really run the country, who don't work on currency, they work on money. So you need to understand that. And when you start thinking that you're better than everybody else, or that your race or your religion's better than anybody else, then that does make you racist. Now, that said, of course, what's happening in Palestine to those people is absolutely... Have you seen North Gaza? It doesn't exist anymore. They literally rode over children's bodies in the rubble, and they laughed about it. I've got all the videos on the X. They laughed at that. Now, let's get into a very controversial fucking thing to say. So you said there, I'm off the 12 tribes of Native America. Your extinction is near. We are white, black, and brown. We can rebuild humanity without your help. We don't want you here anymore. What does that even mean? Sure, I come under the bracket of white, brown, or black. What else can it be? Purple? do you know what I mean? What am I? But I respect your opinion on that, but you're not better than anybody else, and I won't have anybody ever. I don't care what cult, race, religion you are. There's no look. Take religion out of this for 2 seconds. Humans are humans, right? Every baby's born into this world the exact same way. It's how we are indoctrinated to think that determines who we are as adults. What you're talking about is a MAG mutual assistance group. Brilliant. Nobody can stay awake for 24 hours on a regular basis. Yeah. Everything needs to be systemized, and there needs to be a system to everything. And being highly paranoid is a great way to be. When I say I'm not really that highly paranoid, to be honest with you, I'm just venting what I'm thinking here. But you need to be paranoid to the sense that you need to know that it can pop off at any minute. Are you capable of doing terrible things when needed? Have you got those capabilities? There are a lot of people that portray to the public that they are big, bad, hard men, but when it comes down to the crunch, they will crumble, they will fall, they will pee and shit their pants, and they will cry, and they will beg their woman to defend them. The fact is, I've tested the waters. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not saying that I'm the hardest, strongest, the most masculine, or the meanest. I'm not. But I've tested the waters of what I can do. I've tested the waters of my capabilities of what I can do. And when I do believe, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll be that guy that's lying on the ground crying, waiting for his woman to defend him. But I think in the moment when shit pops off, I'm going to be ready to bounce. I'm going to have the bag. I'm going to have the weapons if this ever does happen. I'm not saying it's a dead cert. And I will be ready to, I will be ready for extreme violence if it comes my way. And I will not be losing. And it won't be a fist fight. And I will do it with no empathy, with no feeling, and I will move forward happy that my family's alive, and that's it. That's all that counts. And if somebody wants to join, they can join. Simple. Everything has to be a system. There's a system to everything, and there has to be law. If there's no law, then it just turns into anarchy. What you're YouTube is worse than the BBC on the enabling front. Yeah, non-snowflake. 100% agree with you, fella. I think that was you. I think I seen something, you posted something the other day. I think you're a fella. Could be wrong. Sorry if I misgendered you. So, YouTube, yeah, it is now, to the degree that, once you have to understand, you have to look into the advertisers. Why is Rumble able to speak about? Why is Rumble? Why am I able to speak on Rumble about all the different things? Well, in Rumble, they choose their advertisers. If you look at their advertisers aren't far left whack jobs that want to destroy the West. Their advertisers are mostly, military goods, military products, masculine products and things like that. So that's why on Rumble, you're able to say a lot more. On here, it's like Coca-Cola and fucking Pfizer. Do you know what I mean? So that's the difference. It's that you have to look at who's the advertisers, who's sponsoring the platform, and you'll know who they are. Fair play to Dana White. He came out and said that somebody told him to not speak about Donald Trump, and he says, "Go fuck yourself. I'll speak about whoever I want." And this is essentially what it is, and it was the same as the pandemic. The pandemic give way to a whole. It was an avalanche of control freaks, of women that were, and men too, men and women and children that were put into the deepest fucking recesses of hell, because they weren't able to leave their house, and it was demonic, and it was disgusting, and it was negative here for an atheist. And these people, these men and women, these narcissistic sociopaths, completely dominated and controlled these other people. And there's a lot of people still suffering from that, and that's essentially what the far left is. It's not that you're genderless or you're a communist or something. It's actually down to, most of these far left liberals are narcissistic sociopaths. Most of these Marxists are narcissistic sociopaths that, especially when it comes to BLM, that actually don't care about humanity or a race or the religion or whatever. All they care about is control, and that is the definition of a dictatorship. There is the man himself. It's programming. Why, after thousands of years, do kids need influencers? Up to 50 years ago, parents raised their kids. Now parents can't afford to do anything, and now their kids are programmed by TV. Not just TV. If it was just I was programmed by TV, me and PD, me and you were programmed by TV. That's not the, we're just looking at Disney now and seeing the symbolism, PD. But what is really bad for kids is social media. Social media is terrible for kids because it's given especially pornography. Look, listen, we're all blokes here, right? And there's some of us that are women that are listening, but I'm not going to say I've never watched pornography. That would be stupid to say. Of course, I'm a man, but in my later years, in my 30s, I'm realizing that is destroying men. It's given young men a false representation of what sex actually is with a woman. And there is a whole, it's a, when you look at that and you research it and you see what it is and you see who's sponsoring Pornhub and all the rest of them and OnlyFans, it definitely is destroying. That is one of the biggest destroyers of young men. Because why do they need to go out and people in the West, birth rates are down. Birth rates are down because men don't need to go out and get a partner anymore. They're so filled with anxiety because they're sitting in the house all day eating fucking Pop-Tarts and watching Pornhub. I don't care if I become single in the morning. I'm never going to go on one of those dating websites. I'm going to go out to the pub, going to go out to somewhere and meet a lady, even though I'm not. I'm with my missus for 15 years now. But if I ever did become single, I wouldn't be going onto those dating websites. It's not natural, and if you can, just stay away from pornography. It's absolutely destroying your mind. No, no, Stevie, why I'm not on the whiskey, believe it or not. This is, I don't give a fuck anymore, Stevie. This is how I feel, mate. You know. Yeah, I sort of. It's good and bad. Like for instance, right, I can use my phone to spend 6 hours on a live, and 6 hours playing a game, or 6 hours on Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube, doing absolutely nothing. Or I could use my phone to look at YouTube videos on how to tie knots, how to eat off the land, how to forage off the land, how to hunt, how to keep meat fresh in the summertime if you don't have a fridge and the fucking shit's hit the fan, how to build a tree house. Do you know what I mean? That's what you can use YouTube and the internet for, to actually elevate yourself or learn. Like I left school and I was stupid as fuck. I didn't do my GCSEs. I left school and I didn't go in fifth year. I was going for liquid lunches, taking ecstasy and smoking cannabis. That was my fifth year. But whenever my son was born, I said to myself, I can't be a stupid cunt anymore. So I went and taught myself from scratch right up to pre-algebra. And I didn't need to know algebra, so that's where it stopped. Do you know what I mean? Who needs to know algebra? I wasn't going to be a mathematician. I didn't get my certificates, but I know it for myself. So whenever I'm doing his homework, or whenever he has a question for me, I can answer that question, especially when it comes to mathematics. So fuck academia. Why put a child inside a classroom with those fake lights? No wonder ADHD's through the roof. You're filling your kids full of sweets. You're filling your kids full of fucking all those red, yellow dyes and crisps and processed food. You're putting them under lights, fake light, for 6 hours of a day in a classroom that isn't natural, when all they want to do is run about and play outside. We're going against every basic instinct that we have, and we're wondering why our kids are fucked. That's why. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. Tell your kids the truth at all times. When I say the truth, I don't mean don't be horrible to them. Tell them the truth. My son came to me the other day. He likes the sweets, and I said, son, you're eating too many sweets. Well, I like sweets, Daddy. Well, you're not going to become big and strong. Well, how do you become big and strong? You eat steak and you eat high protein, high fat, low carb. Chips, okay, good carbs, but make sure stay away from McDonald's, stay away from all that. You do that and you do plenty of exercise, you become a big, strong man, stay in school, become intelligent. And if you don't like school, fuck it. Leave school. Don't worry about it. There's always after high school where you can knuckle down by yourself and do whatever you want to do, because it's not natural, is it? So there's no pressure on them. Academia sucks. Academia is shit. Let's pump our kids into a school system all day where they're fucked. Then they get into high school where they're fucked, listening to shit around absolute Neanderthals that don't know their arse from their elbow. Then they go off to take off a loan and they go to university to get a job, that then they have to pay off that loan just to work in an office for fucking 10 hours a day, when they're looking outside and all they want to do is fucking go back to their natural instincts and, live a fucking life. There's a reason why most people that live off the grid are happy once they detox away from the fucking demonic, narcissistic, sociopathic society that we live in. And it's the truth. That is the cold, hard truth. We are destroying our children with academia. Destroying them. It's not even good academia. We're not even promoting here in Ireland. We're not even promoting good mathematicians. We're not promoting economic growth by saying, well, look, let's get into this. When's the last time they teach you about taxes in school? Why don't they teach you about tax in school? Why don't they tell you about Tesla in school in history class? Whenever he basically invented free electricity for everybody. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But this is what they're doing. Couldn't believe it. My son came back to me one day and he says, we're learning about, history. And I said, well, what do you know about history? He says, well, we're learning about, the Bronze Age. And right, okay, great. What about 100,000 years ago? Do you know what a megalith is? No. Do you know what a stone circle is? No. Do you know what a Viking is? No. Fuck off. You don't. Let me tell you something about history. So round about COVID, I used COVID as a history lesson for my kid. We learned about all his prehistory, about his Viking ancestors, his Celtic ancestors, the Gauls, the first Britons, the fucking crazy Scottish people. Do you know what I mean? That he would not learn in school because they don't want to teach them, to motivate them. They want to teach them to make them a good worker, a good working ant. That's the truth. And I forgot to say, Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to everybody. And a Happy New Year. I had a fantastic Christmas. Um, Roger, the same to yourself, mate. Yeah, true, mate. You're right there. I'll be just stuck on my lonesome. Yeah, well, I wasn't really though, PD. I wasn't, mate. Not. That's only in my 30s. I was a cunt whenever I was a teenager. Even in my 20s, I was a cunt. Terrible. I was a cunt. Like, cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Good night, PD. There's no such thing as Santa. Look, I can't. Listen, I can't go that far with the wee bugger, right? Because I want to. At the same time, I have to protect his innocence. But when he does find out, I want to say, look, that wasn't Jesus's birthday. That's actually, mate. That's this is when he's in his 20s. That's actually a pagan ritual. Because if you look at Santa, what does Santa spell out? Satan. So that isn't actually Jesus's birthday. That's a pagan ritual. And actually, if you look at Christmas, why is there mushroom? The mushroom, the red and white mushroom, is like a sort of like a thing for Christmas because it's highly linked with magic mushrooms and paganism. I learned more out of school. 100%, Stephen. 100%, mate. Ireland is 100% a puppet for 100%. And what I don't get about Ireland is, right, so we'll fight for our independence, right? And we're still fighting for the whole of Ireland to be independent, right? In a good way. No fighting anymore, no killing, right? The proper way. To hand over Ireland to the psychopaths in Europe. I would, and the people are going to say, fucking hell, this is a bit of a stretch, Ronan. You're some boyo. You may as well just go back over to England and say, look, take us back over again. That would benefit Ireland more than fucking uh, being a puppet state for Brussels. Because at least Ireland would still be fucking Ireland. Because right now, the Ireland's being used as a sponge, and it's being used as a halfway house for the Brussels, the demonic people that are in Brussels. So you fight for your independence just to hand it over to a cunt that probably has never been to Ireland. Come on, like, do you know what I mean? There's the official humble dryer. Hope you're keeping well, John. Haven't been keeping up to date with all the stuff. I stay out of it. There's a lot of stuff going on that side of YouTube that I just stay away from. Question it sometimes though, John. I'm not going to lie to you. I question it. I think to myself, what's the reason? What's the purpose behind all these things that's going on YouTube? We can say that we know what Dickie is. That's been exposed 100% ages ago. But there's a lot of toxic behavior on YouTube at the minute that just, I mean, it's dark, John. It's dark. It's the darkest. When I look at that, especially what you're involved in, I'm just going to be honest with you, right? I would say this no matter what I would say this. I think to myself, that's a dark side of YouTube. That is dark now. You know, even to a certain degree, evil, mate. You know, but listen, each to their own. You're in it. You don't want to give up. The other side doesn't want to give up. I don't know how that situation is going to turn out. That's me a fucking. No, Stevie was Stevie. Like, you know, there's a few people from Twitter watching here. Just let me check my Twitter here. Let me have a wee look here. Right. It is 100%, John. It's in the fucking dark ages, because it's not so much that. It's not that it's in the dark ages. It's like, you know, I remember when my son came home from school and they said to me, my son said to me, so when do I have to give my organs away? I says, what? He goes, I know what was it? He goes, do I have to be dead to give me organs away? Hey, what are you talking about? He goes, the teacher says that I have to give me organs away. And I went, fuck, hold on. Is there some mad organ snatcher in his school? Rang them up and said, oh, yeah, we're talking about organ donation. And I says, my son's on the spectrum. He's got autism. He only sees things black or white. He thinks that you are going to take his organs. Why are you teaching a child that's on the spectrum about organ donation? What's that got to fucking do with anything? Oh, well, we teach it to all kids. It's the curriculum. Well, should we not be notified about that? Stop teaching them that shit. That's corrupting his head, because he's going to go to sleep tonight thinking that he's going to go into school tomorrow to give you his fucking liver. So they had to rectify that one. So you need to be careful what they're teaching your kids in school. You know, even if they do go to good schools, like my son goes to a very, very, very good school. You know, they're not taught any of that woke bollocks, and if they were taught any of that woke bollocks, there would be an uproar. But he was taught that, which I wasn't happy about. John, if you look at Christmas, I'm not saying I'm educated in this here, but if you look at the mushrooms, Christmas is connected to the red and white mushroom. Over here it is anyway. Maybe it's different in different parts of the world. Maybe it's different in Scotland. I don't know. But if you think about it, well, especially over here, it's magic mushrooms. If you look into it, there's like a connection with magic mushrooms. I'm not saying that that's true though. Could be totally 100% wrong. Yeah. Well, you're doing it, John. You're doing it. That's all I'll say about that. Oh, there's Melissa. Melissa, have a fantastic night. It's always good to see you in. I actually missed doing my lives and seeing you in, and Stevie Boy and the rest of you. We listen, just to let you know, in the description there is the link for my other channel. Well, it's actually more Sean's channel. It's the Serial Killing Minds channel. We're going to be doing a lot of content for that next year after the New Year's. Me and Sean have took a bit of a break. He actually burnt his hand. And I might actually give him a ring tonight to see how he is. But we've got big things coming on the Serial Killing Minds channel where we'll talk about serial killer. Sean speaks to serial killer. So if you're into that there, just click the link in the description and subscribe and hit the notification bell to that channel. I will be going live on this channel at the same time, with the same content, with the same live, but after a while I'm going to stop doing the lives here and they're just going to be solely designated to that channel. I don't know what way this channel is going to go, guys. I honestly don't know, because YouTube have fucked me hard here, like, you know. They've done a number on me here where I can't speak about anything. So it looks like for the foreseeable future I'm going to just have to speak about MMA. And even when it comes to MMA, I have to watch my P's and Q's, because if I say anything left field, where I bring up Dana White and maybe him being a conservative, or get into maybe him between, like, his relationship with Donald Trump, they could send me a strike for that and they'll just get rid of my channel. So for the next 90 days, I'm on thin ice here. So, use the link in the description and head over to the Serial Killing Minds channel now. And if you're into that, Sean speaks to serial killers in prison. He's got a whole collection of memorabilia from them. I know it's a bit weird and creepy, but listen, at the end of the day, right? Sean's a good guy. Sean has lived in the shit all his life, and he's got a good wife. He lost his son. I don't want to speak too much about that. That's his story to tell. And he speaks to these people in prison because he's been in the darkest places of life that you could imagine. So he speaks to serial killers. He understands that what they've done is wrong, but it makes for good content, because then we can come back and relay this information to you. You're not really getting that with any other channel. Tell me another channel that's giving you content directly from serial killers' mouths. Dirty, rotten, disgusting human beings. If I ever get speaking to one of them, I'll tell them that. But it's giving you an insight for the people that are into the true crime. What's going through these people's minds? How narcissistic, how sociopathic, how evil are they? Have they got remorse? It mightn't be doing big numbers. I'm not here for the numbers. I'm here to be learning. And when it comes to this true crime stuff, Sean is giving us a wealth of knowledge. So head over now, subscribe, hit the notification bell to the Serial Killing Minds channel. The link's in the description, or just use the handle at Serial Killing Minds, all lowercase, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Next year, we're going to be ramping it up on that channel, and we're not giving a fuck about views. We're going to be going in just purely for the content and the discussion. So if you're into that, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Good man, John. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Cheers, vlogs. I appreciate that. And listen, yes, it is a good night for me too. If you're watching on Twitter, head over to my YouTube. I can't really see on Twitter if anybody's watching. But listen, that's it, guys. Peace out. Listen, if I'm not speaking to you before New Year's, have a fantastic New Year's.